Hi, I'm Ashura, and welcome back to Undermine. We're gonna jump straight in with the second storyline, Undermine Awaits, but now that we're actually here in Undermine, I want to talk about it a little bit. So, Undermine is very well established in WoW lore. There's references to it as far back as vanilla. There's a series of goblin quests in Ratchet, among other things, that make repeated reference to Undermine, the goblin capital. Unfortunately, though, they don't really tell us too much other than that. The RPG Lands of Mystery book came out about a year later in 2005, and it's not technically canon because the RPG was decanonized, but it also has a snippet in it about Undermine and Kazan, which is the island that Undermine is built under/near. Now, you may remember, we've gone to Kazan before in the Goblin Starting Zone and again in the Motherlode Dungeon in BFA, which we're revisiting for this Mythic Plus season. But we've never been to Undermine. Like, this is our first time actually going to the Goblin capital proper after hearing about it for years. And because the quests and the RPG didn't really tell us too much about it, this is pretty much a blank slate. Like, it's interesting to me that for as well established as Undermine is in WoW lore, having existed for so many years without us actually going to it, that we're learning all completely new lore about it because we didn't really know that much about it. Now, quick few side notes. You also may remember, if you did any Goblin Starting Zone content, that Kazan sort of blew up in Cataclysm. And obviously, to some extent, that got walked back a little bit in BFA because the Motherlode dungeon also takes place on Kazan, and that seemed fine and not entirely destroyed by a volcano. And if you're anything like me, you've been wondering how Undermine survived the eruption of Mount Kajaro. I'm gonna hedge a guess and say that since the Motherlode part of Kazan seemed to be untouched by this eruption, that Undermine was too. But we do also know from the RPG that Undermine is actually pretty vast. It has a lot of caverns and tunnels underneath the islands near the Maelstrom, perhaps even beyond that. There's actually one of the Rocket Drill NPCs at Slam Central Station that if you talk to them, they tell you one of the rocket drills would take you to a completely different side of Undermine. So, while I'm not sure that we're ever explicitly told how Undermine survived the volcanic eruption, it's probably safe to say that it was far from Kajaro or far from the center of the eruption. Or maybe even that the goblins, savvy as they are, had a way to protect themselves. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the story.
What's the problem?
There you are. I'm Grimla. Welcome to Undermine. If you want to get up to speed with the current situation, you've come to the right goblin. Bamsy vouched for you. That's good enough for me. Got a coupon you can use at the Intercontinental Hotel. We'll start there. Let's take a ride in Gramps, my hot rod. Hop in when you're ready.
What you up?
Never thought I'd be back here. Better get started.
I'll see if I can track the Black Blood.
You're gonna want to keep a low profile. Gallywix is not a fan.
I came to fix problems, not make new ones.
File in! Don't be shy! First stop, the Intercontinental Hotel. Goblins of all sorts congregate there. It's a great place to get the latest word.
Undermine smells worse than I remember. Was it always this suffocating?
Undermine has no business looking like this. Clear out these trash.
Come on now, old
This
grease.
ain't my...
Tourism's taking a big hit with all this violence. Get some pics of
Excellent. Let's head inside the hotel.
Well.
Shipping and handling is the best of the best of the best when it comes to employers in Undermine. And we're not Dark Fuse affiliated. So you don't gotta sacrifice your morals working for Gallywix.
What sort of jobs does shipping and handling do?
His jobs are mostly delivery. Comes with a nice ride as a perk. If you make a name for yourself around Undermine, I'll be in touch.
I'll miss you. What's the news?
Welcome to the Incontinental. You got a reservation? Ain't gonna matter. We're full.
You call this place the Incontinental?
Yeah, duh. Incontinental, like inside the continent, 'cause we're underground. Get it?
You mean intracontinental, right?
Oh.
Pax stares off into the distance as a realization comes across his face.
We just had the sign redone.
Time's a wasting. Yeah?
Wow, and the coupon isn't even expired. This hotel is the best of the best. It's centrally located, isn't full of nasty dark-fused thugs, and we keep the Croach population de-escalated. Rooms are full, but Hearthstones we got. Do you need one? Nah.
Watch your back.
Welcome to the best place ever.
Working for the cartels ain't always pretty, but the perks are decent. Plus you get dental coverage and the occasional pizza party. Can't beat that.
You know how the first storyline, Gazlowe sort of gave you a breakdown about the cartels? This NPC also does during this part, and I really like that. So, I want to know more about the cartels.
Sure thing. Which one?
Tell me about the Bilgewater.
The Bilgewater cartel is Monty Gazlowe's crew. They practice what you call the classical goblin arts, building things and blowing them up. Some of the best mechanical minds have been in that cartel. Gazlowe, Grapplehammer, even Gallywix back in the day. Innovation, engineering, construction, city planning, infrastructure, and all of that stuff in reverse, with explosions. Officially, they're part of the Horde, but don't let that scare you off. This is Undermine, and jobs here are all about Undermine business.
Tell me more about Steamweedle.
The Steamweedle cartel is probably the oldest and largest cartel. You can see that by all the towns they got across Azeroth, and I hear even beyond.
That confused me at first, and then I totally forgot that there were goblins literally in Netherstorm in Outland. I think that's what that's referencing.
Baron Noggenfogger is the trade prince these days, and he is big in the alchemy and potion scene. Of course, Steamweedle does fuels, poisons, and any old industrial chemicals too, but a goblin's gonna have his favorites. But running the biggest cartel doesn't leave a lot of time for mixing it up. Rumor is Mrs. does a lot of the potion work these days, but I don't know if that's making, selling, or both. That's Sprinkle Noggenfogger, if you haven't heard. The point is, Steamweedle means liquid assets.
Tell me more about Blackwater.
Who says an old goblin can't change? Seems like just yesterday shipping and handling were running from the Blackwater Raiders. Now the Blackwater cartel is running shipping. Ha! Well, shipping, trade, transport, and tourism.
I think that's why they were running the toll booth in Storyline 1.
Trade Prince Rebelgas has turned that ship around. He still runs Booty Bay, and it seems like he's still friendly with the Steamweedle cartel. Blackwater Raiders always had ties to the Steamweedle cartel. It was probably Marin Noggenfogger becoming trade prince that opened the door for Blackwater to become a proper cartel here in Undermine. They may still do some smuggling and piracy, but you didn't hear that from me.
And last but not least, tell me about Venture Co.
You can't build without materials. For better or for worse, when you need raw materials, the Venture Company gets them. If you can dig it up, chop it down, or blow it out of a mountain, they will. They also got some of the best heavy machines, miners, shredders, drills, and what have yous. They get in a lot of trouble digging or cutting where they shouldn't, or trying to keep what they promised to someone else. It's probably why there ain't no trade prince. Sometimes there are bad people at the top, but terminal command restructuring is pretty regular over there. Grimla Fizzlecrank is the one who hands out the jobs these days, and she's alright in anyone's book.
What if I want to change my cartel? Easy, pal. It's just a contract. Don't know what you heard, but the contract is only for a week. Then you can work for the same cartel or work for a different one. Why do I want to choose a cartel to work for? Why wouldn't you want to? You get to make a name for yourself, and them trade princes won't ever forget what you've done for them. Got it.
Keep cool out there.
How's it going? I am friends with some very important goblins. You might be friendly with
in
the...
a situation right now, with Gallywix and the Dark Fuse.
Good thing we're here to make a difference. You might be friendly with trade princes or cartels on the outside, but it's a whole different game down here. In Undermine, we all start at the bottom. But trust me, pal, it'll be worth it.
I'll be waiting.
We do things different.
So, that's the Intercontinental Hotel. Things go downhill from here.
Bilgewater's gotten it worse than the other cartels.
I need to get to the Bilgewater. These dark views have me worried.
Next stop, Tailgate Park. Bilgewater cartel used to be in charge there, but Gallywix had other plans. Now the Dark Fuse act like they own the place, and the Bilgewater, well, they do the best they can. I'm not sure who runs it now, if anyone does.
Station next stop, Tailgate Park. All aboard! Dark Fuse kinda took over Tailgate Park.
I left Laszlo Overbite in charge. I need to talk to him.
Gazlowe. They killed him.
I remember things being bad, but this is worse than expected.
I don't know if I'd say that this is my favorite storyline, but I think I really like it just because we get like an actual tour of Undermine, and as someone way too invested in the lore, that's really exciting to me.
I got you
Like,
back.
yes, tell me everything. They look up to Gazlowe. Maybe you folks showing up will give them a little hope.
See you around.
I'm not a violent gal by nature, but there are a lot of dark fuse out there. They're already hassling the locals, and they won't like you guys asking questions. You want to keep your friends safe? You want to put the locals in better spirits? Probably be best if there were a whole lot less dark fuse, if you catch my meaning.
Don't break anything I wouldn't.
Bilgewater on duty.
Undermine swallows everything that's good. Now it got Laszlo. We need to find who's in charge now and figure out how to keep him safe. I think I know where to start asking.
Get out there and get to it. I need to see it with my own eyes.
I'll stay with our ride, in case we need a quick escape.
Need some help?
My brother Laszlo did his best for the Bilgewater and Undermine. Why don't you run things now? No way! I got a little daughter. Gallywix would have no problem going after her. What happened? It's been a slippery slope with Gallywix. He manipulated a lot of Laszlo's friends, forcing Laszlo to go along with some awful deals. Laszlo stood up to Gallywix, but you know how that ended. That's when the Dark Fuse came. Nobody stepped up to lead us since that night.
Keep safe.
Laszlo, how could Gallywix do this?
Delby sighs and shakes her head sadly, because no one stopped them.
What needs fixing?
At least no single goblin is Gallywix's next target, for now. That will give us time to deal with the Black Blood. Then we can figure out how to get my people out of Gallywix's grasp.
Yep, looks like we've got work to do.
Nice work! The Bilgewater get to sleep a little easier, and maybe feel like they got a little payback for their old boss.
Says what it is.
We're headed to my home turf next, Venturewood. It's next to the heaps. The venture company is mostly on board for Gallywix.
That means a lot of the top brass are as dirty as him. Watch your step. But there are some good folks there, too, like Pamsy and her crew. The little guy at Venture gets it rough. Everyone thinks Adventure Co. is just the baddies, so no one looks after him. But I gotta try, right? Hop in the hot rod. I'll show you what I mean.
Don't break anything I wouldn't. Last stop, the Heaps. My home turf.
He's infected every part of the city. The cartels ain't even standing up for themselves.
We just gotta push him, Gazlowe.
That's the spirit, as they say.
Tourism's taking a big hit with all this violence.
There's no rain in Undermine. Isn't really a sun either.
Hey, Nikki! Venture works for Gallywix now. Why a dark fuse here?
'Cause dark fuse keeps you nobody's in line.
Offhandedly, I gotta say, I really like that even though the Venture Company has mostly been a monolith in terms of us questing and killing groups of them for many years, I like that when it comes to Undermined, things are a lot more complex. Like, you find out, especially as the storyline goes on, that not every goblin is really on Gallywix's side by choice. There's a lot who are being coerced or forced into this, and not any single cartel really leans one way or the other. Like, there's some Venture Co people like Nikki who are absolutely with him, and some Venture Co people like Pamsy and Grimla who really aren't. And I didn't say this earlier, but I wanted to point out when you ask that one goblin in the hotel about the different cartels, and she says that even if you're Alliance, you can pick Bilgewater because goblin business is goblin business. I've been thinking about that because my friend and I were talking about it, and it totally makes sense to me that, like, even though, for example, Bilgewater is Horde aligned, goblin loyalty sort of first and foremost is to all of goblin kind, and I think this storyline really emphasizes that in terms of them boosting each other up and sort of regaining their sense of self and culture and society, especially under the oppressive heel of Gallywix. So this is just a really long way of saying that I think it makes total sense that you can just go in there as an Alliance player and be like, okay, I'm gonna sign up with the Bilgewater for a week. Because it's so, when it comes to the Bilgewater, it's so much more than just, oh, they're Horde goblins. Like, there's far more to it than that, having to do with goblin associations. I mean, like, we've been killing Venture Co goblins for years, and yet here we are befriending them, you know? Unpack as you will, I guess.
Hiya. Stay sharp out there.
Nikki's solidly in Gallywix's pocket. She used to be my friend. You should talk
Off
to her.
you go, then. You can't treat our own crew like this, Nikki.
I ain't like you. I'm at the big table. I'm going places.
Nikki stares at Gazlowe a little too long.
You're the one who gets to stick around and mop up this mess.
What you got?
Venture sells out, and all we get is 20-hour shifts.
Grimla sent you? She's a good one.
Venture was always a rough job, but it seemed better before Gallywix came to town. Nikki wants a shortcut to the top, but we do all the work for it.
There you are.
You did good for those goblins. Nikki brings the chaos, and not in the fun way.
Gallywix's arrival brought out the worst in some goblins. Oh, then it's business, is it?
That was rough, with Nikki. And worse, the Darkview spy copter saw everything. Feels like we can't get away from all the spies, don't it? The last thing Venture needs is Gallywix thinking these workers ain't loyal because they got caught on footage during one of Nikki's tantrums. We don't want a repeat of what happened to my last crew. Go take the footage from the spy copters. They usually lurk around the workshops or follow Venture workers around.
Do what you gotta. What needs fixing?
There's nothing better than breaking bad machines for a good cause.
Will that do now?
The less dirt on us Gallywix has, the better.
Oh, and I was gonna chat all day.
I have never seen a place like this.
Wait till you see Uptown.
The roots brought us both here.
Well, you've been getting familiar with the state of Undermine. I've been tracking our prey. The presence of black blood is everywhere, hidden behind noisy distractions. But this city cannot fool me. I discovered a black blood shipment at a place called Hovel Hill, but there were machines guarding it. We should go together.
Perhaps we'll meet again. I caught the scent of black blood in a small storehouse. We must hurry.
I have more deliveries. I'll be in touch.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Orweyna, you didn't have to knock him out.
He was going to take the black blood.
Don't need to question him. Just take a look around. Ethereal warning letter. Ethereal's an Undermine. We gotta tell Illyria.
I can reach her fastest.
I'll watch Gazlowe and keep him out of trouble. Ethereal warning letter. Don't worry about the bots at the pickup. Last guy spotted an ethereal watching us, and it ain't the first. These bots will make sure no one gets the drop on ya. So there were ethereals popping up in Gutterville. And now there's ethereals here. Alert. Possible ethereal accomplice spotted. I still don't really want to give it away why the ethereals are popping up, because it will be revealed in time. Blackwater shipping manifest. The manifest details extensive orders for Blackwater couriers to deliver to various depot locations in Undermine. Each depot has a different symbol next to it.
You got a problem? I got solutions.
I reckon the shipment should show us who's using them. Check out any labels or letters laying around. I think I stunned all the defenses. They'll leave us be.
Bilgewater is on the job.
Baron Revelgaz is shipping black blood around the city? And he's paranoid about ethereals? I got questions, and he's got answers.
Nice chat. Now
There's
get
no
a
doubt
move.
about it. These shipments have Blackwater cartel written all over them. Literally. The black blood comes in here, and then Blackwater takes it somewhere in the city by couriers. So if we want to find out where, we go right to the top. Baron Revelgaz. Grimla mentioned Revelgaz as a temporary setup nearby, here in Hovel Hill. Let's go pay him a visit. The ethereal thing will have to wait.
Do us proud.
That crate of black blood had Blackwater labels all over it. Let's pay Revelgaz a visit. Hey, look, we're all friends here.
But you're working for the bad guys.
Oh, look what the see-through in.
So what do I owe the pleasure of the three of you showing up at my temporary abode? What's going on with the ethereals? I've only heard whispers about ethereals in Undermine. Ghost stories make the delivery guys jumpy. Extra security didn't hurt nobody. Why is this your temporary home? All I've done is work with Gallywix, but the Darkview squatted in the Blackwater Marina anyway. Got sick of them watching my every move, so a new place gave me a bit of freedom. Who controls Hovel Hill? No one controls Hovel Hill. The goblins with no cartel ties live here, and any cartel goblins that don't have better digs in one of the cartel areas. We found evidence that you're transporting black blood within Undermine. You make it sound like I've committed a crime. We all gotta find ways to survive under Gallywix's tyranny. Where is the black blood going in Undermine?
You're my pals, but it's Undermine. You want something, you give something. Ahoy there! Keep an eye out for squalls.
I'm sure we can come to an understanding.
Set sail.
The Dark Fuse are moving into Hovel Hill. It's the same thing they did at Blackwater Marina. Once they move in, they start pushing the locals around. Sometimes they just make them go away. That ain't right. I want to fight back, but my hands are tied. If an outsider showed up and started making trouble, that'd be a different story.
Fair weather and steady seas.
They call them recruitment posters, but that ain't all they're for. They're there to remind everyone the Dark Fuse are in charge and can do whatever they want. If me or one of the locals rip them down, it goes bad for us. But the Dark Fuse hate you anyway. If you torched all the posters, I would owe you one.
Be on your way now.
Renzik and I'll stay with Rebel Gas. We got catching up to do.
Everyone here works for a bigger fish. And you can't just spill secrets. Smuggly confidentiality, yeah? Loose lips sink ships. Like I couldn't, for old time's sake, tell you that I just leave the stuff at a depot in the heaps.
And we wouldn't ask.
Trouble? What's the trouble?
Your questions are gonna stir up trouble for me. But tell you what, help me out and I'll trade you the information you're after.
Find your fortunes.
If I had a few more like you, I wouldn't have lost the marina.
Set sail.
You know, keep Dark Fuse out, but at least Hovel Hill is a little nicer without that Dark Fuse garbage on the walls. Like I said, I owe you one.
Find your fortunes.
Yo!
Blackwater is just one step on the journey, and they like to keep this stuff moving. Rebel Gaz had his people take it from the station, hide it for a bit, then deliver it to the drop sites. Drop sites change, but the current one is a depot on the heaps. We're gonna check it out and find out where the black blood goes from there. He says it's guarded, so look for us out near the edge.
Keep it real.
I don't like this. I'm getting a closer look.
Don't start too much trouble. I don't want any blowback from this.
Time is money, friend.
Caught sight of our old pal Zerdo and scouting the
I was
depot.
hoping to never see him again after the ringing deeps.
That's a lot of guards. We're on to something.
Be good.
The heaps are crawling with guards. You've got an opportunity to disrupt the Black Blood operation in Undermine, and we should take it. We can't stop all the Black Blood from getting around the city, but we can clear out some guards and smash some shipments. Mess them up enough to disrupt things. Every little bit helps.
Have a good one.
We get things done.
Our old pal Zerdo's back. Looks like he's been promoted to overseer of the heaps, keeping track of the Black Blood shipments. We owe him some payback for selling us out in Gutterville. He got a lot of good goblins killed to get on Gallywix's good side. Give the little snitch what he deserves. Zerdo betrayed the venture company to earn his promotion to overseer of the heap.
All parts accounted for.
Let's mess up the Black Blood shipment while we're here.
And pay Zerdo back for what he did to Pamsy's crew.
Zerdo's ledger.
It's just business, pal.
The ledger has long-winded ramblings about Zerdo's achievements, but also contains various deliveries of black blood across Undermine. Multiple entries in the ledger stick out as odd. 1,000 units
Big shot.
for Secret Project, delivered to Secret Project site. 20 units for developmental ammunition, deliver via courier. Transfers approved by a noggin fogger of Steamweedle.
You get the delivery to the secret project site yesterday. And whatever's left goes to Venture for munitions testing. Where is Noggenfogger's shipment? Don't you make me look bad in front of him.
So at this point, it's looking like all of the trade princes are involved with whatever Gallywix is going on.
What's the holdup?
You found the ledger that mentions Noggenfogger? That can't be right. Who is Noggenfogger? Baron Noggenfogger. He's the Baron of Gadgetzane and now trade prince of the Steamweedle cartel. Noggenfogger and me, we go way back. We joined up with Steamweedle and left Undermine about the same time. I did more construction and he did more alchemy. We kinda split ways when we landed in Kalimdor, but we was always friendly. Well, he got a little pompous when he became a baron. But when he married Sprinkle, he got back to his old self. Me and him was even working on some ideas to make things better for the goblins who worked for our cartels.
Oh, it's lonely at the top.
I ain't forgot what he did to Pamsy's crew in Gutterville. This was for them too.
Nice chat. Now get a move on.
Noggenfogger knows better than to get mixed up with Gallywix.
Get out there and get to it.
This is all too much.
All parts accounted for.
That should slow the black blood business. Hopefully anyone expecting a shipment will have a real bad day.
Be good.
It's time to sort out what to do next. This Noggenfogger business has Gazlowe on edge, and we gotta move quickly to find out what's going on. Something's got me on edge too. We should get out of the heaps fast, but let's make sure Gazlowe's on board.
Keep it real. Unbelievable. Noggenfogger working for Gallywix. I told you, this town ruins everything and everyone. It ain't worth it.
Zerdo's always been a sleaze. Revelgaz, he's a decent goblin, but he's still a pirate. Noggenfogger, maybe he was playing an angle with ya. Maybe he's always been rotten. What I know is, they all work for Gallywix. Some 'cause they wanna, some 'cause they got no choice.
You think Gallywix has leverage on him?
He's your pal. You tell me.
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Let's get out of here so we can talk. Feels like we're being watched. See, keep in mind, Renzik's SI7, so he is good at all this Spymaster business. He has a really good sense of what's going on.
You're talking to the goblin in charge.
Renzik was here a moment ago. He told me to be quiet and vanished. Let's look around quietly. Watch out!
Stop meddling in our affairs.
Surprise ethereal attack!
Hey, how you doing?
These ethereals clearly don't want us investigating this, but how'd they get mixed up in Undermine?
Have a good one.
Back to the hotel. I got a lot to tell the others.
That ethereal got the drop on us. I hope Orweyna's reached Illyria by now.
Me too. Because this is trouble. If it's confusing, I think that it's sort of meant to be like this is a puzzle that you slowly put together through the stories. So exactly what's happening with all the moving parts is going to make a lot more sense in the next two storylines.
Noggenfogger.
I don't want to give it away right now,
Into?
but in due time.
What now?
Grimla says Orweyna and Illyria haven't shown up.
Bilgewater is on the job.
And that's the second storyline. All these storylines are pretty long. I think that I like the storylines more and more as they go on, especially as we start to solve the mystery. But I really like the setup of this one, and I said this earlier, but just like getting a little bit of a tour throughout Undermine and getting a sense of like what all of the different places are for, and that the cartels sort of have their own little areas, but this is also just really blended, and getting a better semblance through the story of what the different cartels have jurisdiction over is really cool. I really like the way that it's integrated into the plot. Not a lot I can say about the story yet, but it will make sense soon. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and then we'll pick up with the third storyline in the next one. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in Undermine again in the next one. Now my headphone's dying. Yo! Yo! Oh god, I aggroed it. Okay. Nope. Turn around. Turn around. Get wrecked, ghost. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die a terrible death. My ear is just so bad. It was so close. For the overwhelming desire for delicious street food?
Time is money, friend. Have a good one.
This is my happy place. Bro. I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave. Okay, someone put me on a time limit, because otherwise I'm just gonna keep running around. I feel like I'm spoiling it slightly. We ball!